In my extraordinaire. So today we're talking about lock maintenance, how to care for your locks. So if that interests you as far as beauty entrepreneurship, how to care for your natural hair, running and owning a hair care business with a little sprinkle of real life, you're in the right place. So as you see, I have locks and they are color treated, and we're going to talk about the maintenance and how you care for your locks. One big important tip I like to stress to you guys is actually moisturizing your locks. Learning what products work for your hair, because truth be told, my journey is my journey and yours is yours. Now, a little bit of history of me. I did go to cosmetology school, y'all. I have worked in salon space, and I also did hair out of my own home. And now I'm running a natural hair care business since 2020. We started formulating our products in 2015. So I do have a lot of, tips and tricks that I could teach you guys. And to be honest, before I started my own hair care brand, I was a product junkie. I was that person that didn't know what works for my hair, so I was picking up everything and anything. And I found out real quick that all products are not created equal. Not everything is going to work for your hair. So it's important to, trust the process, as they say, and learn what your hair likes. If your scalp start reacting funny to it, you realize it's starting to now be more dry or a lot itchy or excessive dandruff, and you wasn't experiencing that before, it might be your time to change it up, switch it up, use something else. Or it could be the process of how you're applying the products. Now, one big tip I would also like to give you guys, whether you're a loose natural or you have locks, is to make sure that you're moisturizing first with every step. This is what worked for me, worked for my clients, and worked for my family. So the moisturizer should be your first thing. And with our business, our company at MaeB4UNaturals, that would be the Miracle Moisture Mist. So before I'm detangling the children's hair or before I'm doing my retwist, I start with this product first. Also, this is my product, the go-to for when I go like in the mornings or daily, because it is a daily mist. You just go in there and you're going to mist it and you're going to run your hands down the lock itself. That way it's getting into your lock, right? And being this is aloe vera is the main base to it, you're going to want to go behind it with the oil, because the oil is your sealant. So that way it's going to seal in all those goodness of your moisturizer. That's our Infinity Hair Growth Oil, 40 plus herbs, over 8 premium oils in it, okay? It is macerated hair growth oil, meaning we don't add no heat. We are the home of the maceration process, okay? So we're going to talk about whether you're dealing with kids' hair, your hair is still important to moisturize. Now, of course, being that it's a liquid base, if you have a fresh retwist, it might make your retwist start to unravel. So what you can do for that, if your retwist is here, you will spray down this part of your lock with your mist, okay? And you can avoid the areas that are freshly retwist, if that matters to you. Over here, I am semi-freeform, so I don't always focus on if my roots are neat and freshly retwisted, because that's not my journey. When I first started doing my locks, because I did start my own locks, I was, like a lot of people, I was so straight on, oh, I want my fresh retwist all the time. I need the parts looking neat, and especially in the job. A lot of jobs don't like locks. They don't like natural hair. So sometimes we're forced to make it look a particular way because of the industry, because of, the stereotypes around natural hair. So it's up to you. If your job is lenient on that, then you can go ahead and wear semi-freeform locks or freeform locks. It's up to you. But being that I don't, work in the 9 to 5s anymore, I don't have to worry about things like that. So just be mindful when you start your natural hair journey, whether it's with locks or not. You know, is it acceptable in your job atmosphere, in your job environment? Find out, because you don't want to start your locks and find out later on down the line that your job is in jeopardy, okay? It's a real thing. We're still fighting with the Crown Act, you know, with the laws in place on trying to get accepted as far as the job space and schools and such like that. Okay, so this is what I do daily. Sometimes I do miss out on days, y'all, just like you guys do. We're still the same. I don't want y'all to think, oh, she has a hair care line, she must constantly maintain her hair. No, that is not my journey. You know, like I said, I'm semi-freeform, and with semi-freeform, usually you put what you need in there, and then you keep your hands out of it. You don't do too much, okay? And this is why, if you can see, I can show you. We'll be real transparent here. When I was doing retwists all the time, even though it is bleached, I was constantly retwisting, and sometimes it makes your lock start to thin, thin, thin. And then you start getting knots to show you where the last time you have retwisted at, right? You can see that. And now you can see my roots is starting to grow in very thick, but it makes this kind of stand out. Now I still like to continue to color my hair because I just love color. It's a part of my personal brand. You know, that's how I branded myself. I always did purple locks. My hair was purple before I locked up. For a lot of people, they asked me about that. I did not color my hair when I got a fresh, when I first locked, when I had starter locks. I did not color my hair just then. It was already pre-colored, pre-bleached. So I just continued to do that. But one thing for sure is I only do it twice a year. I only bleach twice a year. So soon I'll be letting that go, um, because I want to be more where my whole scalp is healthy. I'm just not, you know, set on the all black yet. It's just something that I always loved was color, but I was in professional setting jobs all the time and they didn't like color. So now I get to do it now that I have my own business and, you know, don't work for places like that anymore. So, like lock maintenance, like we discussed it, we said the moisturizer, your Miracle Moisture Mist. You guys can tap in. I can have everything linked below. To find me on social media is MaeB4UNaturals for our product business, for our product line. And when you see me on places like TikTok and other platforms, I'm known as the natural hair care extraordinaire. Okay? So I want to point out this lock in particular because we're going to discuss. A lot of you guys have lock maintenance issues and y'all been asking me to help y'all out. So one thing I want to talk about that a lot of people don't explain or discuss. A lot of times you may experience thinning locks, like I said, locks that have damage or been colored treated, and they may have thinning areas. It could be that you never colored your hair, but you still have thinning areas. A lot of times people will start parting out their locks, and unfortunately later on they start to thin or get smaller, or we combine certain locks and the base is still small. It would make the lock start getting heavy, too heavy for the base, right? And you may start experiencing where you have thinning areas. So my tip is make sure you have a thick base. As you see, this area is thick, but then as you see, as it go down, it was thinning, right? So I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people like to go to the beauty supply store and get bulk hair, and which is the kinky hair in bulk, and they like to part it out and, you know, get sections of it and actually repair their locks. So we're gonna talk about that. Let me go ahead and braid this and put it over out of the way so I can show you guys. Now, I'm not sure if you guys have lock tools or are aware of lock tools. So I'm going to show you one of the lock tools. We have this one right here, which has one needle on it, right? One crochet hook. It's very thin, as you can see. and I like to work with the one. I do have the one that has two, and we have another one that has three of them, right? So what you do, you can get some hair. A lot of people, I don't like going to get, hair that's from the beauty supply store or wherever. I like to use my own hair. And I don't hear people talk about that. And you might say, natural hair care extraordinaire, how you use your own hair? Now, when I comb out my hair that's over here that's growing, because my sides has always been cut down bald, because I have a lock mohawk. I've had loose hair, which I had an afro mohawk, and I grew my locks out and still kept the sides cut. So after my 6-month challenge, I showed how long the sides grow. If you want to see that, go check out my TikTok page, and you can see how long this is, okay? And we can talk about that too if you have questions about that. So when you're combing your hair, a lot of times I comb with the wide tooth comb. You comb your hair out. Sometimes you'll get the hair, little bits of hair that's in the comb, like this, if you comb some out. Well, I take this, I keep this hair. If it's tangled up or if it has any build up in it, like this, all you have to do is you take you a small comb and you can get that out. It's tedious, but you can get that out. Also, you can take this, you can put it in a stocking cap, and you can put it inside some apple cider vinegar and water solution, and you can clean that hair out. Or you can use a detox clarifying shampoo, okay? And you can clean that out. And then once it dry, all you do is the same thing you do with bulk hair that's in the beauty supply store. All you're going to do is take little pieces of section, and you can repair your lock. So that's what I'm going to show you now, okay? So you take this lock, this little piece of hair, and you take this lock, and you can see right here where I stopped at, okay? Because I repaired right here that was thinning. You're going to go to the smallest area where you stopped. Take some hair, and you're going to wrap it loosely, okay? You're not pulling tight, because when you pull tight, that's when you get the indentions in your lock. And then later on down the line, it could start to break right there. Okay, so you're going to wrap to the density of where you left off at, okay? And then you start going down the lock, okay? I'm doing it very loosely because your needle on your crochet hook is going to start to make sure it's inside. So here we go. And you just take your time. If you're someone that's not, familiar with losing a lock tool, you're going from one side to the next. So on my finger, you're going like this, from the side to the side. Then you're going to go in and stuff it if it feels thin. Then you go in and out. So that's what I'm doing, okay? And you can roll the hair as you go, okay? So you're pulling hair from this way, pushing it through, going back, pushing it through, okay, as you go down. So let me show you guys right here. And some spots might feel kind of tough to go through. You take your time. You can skip over that part and you can go back in if you see any missing areas. Let me show you guys how that goes. Sometimes it will get caught. You take your time trying to get the needle out. That way you won't do any extra damage to any areas, okay? Because you're trying to feed it through the piece of lock that is your hair, even though this hair is my hair as well. Okay, so you see it sticking out right here. You see it's wrapped around there. So you're going to turn it to the other side and start feeding it back through, right? You can also roll it a little bit. We'll do that as well. And you're going to do like that. Okay, and you see some still sticking out. That's okay. We're going to go back in and you're going to continue. It's not that hard. A lot of times, y'all, I sit down and I'm watching TV as I do it. I'm used to doing it from being a stylist for so long. So I just decided I wanted some of my locks to be a little bit thicker in those thinning areas. I did not want to cut it and start over. I didn't want to cut them because my hair was in a lock mohawk. So my locks is already going to not be the same length because it was cut in a style, right? So those are the tips that I want to give people that, you're growing out a particular style and you don't know what to do. Just like my sides. I didn't know if I wanted to continue to cut it after the 6-month challenge. So I decided to make sure I'm still spraying the Miracle Moisture Mist on it. And I'm using my Infinity Hair Growth Oil on it. And then I run my fingers through it, comb it, and I braid it back up to make sure I'm still protecting my hair and making sure my scalp is healthy while I decide. And a lot of times that happens to us where we undecided about what's the next step or the next style we want to do to our hair. And because I'm not heavy on styling my hair anymore because it does a lot of wear and tear on your around your edges, around the perimeter of your hair, that I try to make sure that I'm doing loose maintenance, not doing too many tight styles. So as you see, that's in there, okay? And then we go with the next piece. Now you go in small sections to make sure your lock isn't real thick and bulky. Now if you want real thick locks and bulky, then you're going to take a big chunk of the hair and wrap it and then go ahead and crochet it through. But because it's down to the bottom and I like the way it goes big and then goes thinner and thinner and thinner like your average hair strand would be, I go ahead and make sure I work in small sections. Okay? So those are the tips I got for you guys. Our products are great for children. They're great for even if you're someone that's pregnant, someone going through postpartum. It's great for those seniors that's dealing with, stubborn gray hairs. So it's great for all ages. It is for textured hair individuals, people that got coarse, kinky hair and such. And it's great for your scalp. It's a great treatment. And don't sleep on having hot oil treatments. Hot oil treatments are great to do, you know. Also, you can add the oils to your favorite conditioners as well. I'm looking down here, y'all, so I can see how I'm wrapping now that I'm getting towards the bottom. See, you wrap and you wrap and make sure it's not too tight. That way you don't have an indentation going on. And then you go in with your crochet needle, right? So I'm going to come on here giving you guys tips and tricks. Y'all can comment down in the comments. I want y'all to like, subscribe, turn your notification bell on. That way you know when I drop some more information to y'all. I'm here to help empower you and educate you through your natural hair journey. If you're struggling with your hair, go ahead and send me a message. Let's keep in contact. You can follow me on social media. I'm real heavy over there on the TikTok page under Natural Hair Care Extraordinaire. And I'm here to help y'all. I know a lot of people struggle, especially doing their kids' hair. So we can talk about that as well because I do have 4 granddaughters. So I do a lot of hair maintenance with them. Okay? So I hope you guys like this content. And I'm happy to be here with you. And the next time I'm going to show you guys how you can actually make your own locks using your own hair that you have that fell out, not fell out, but when you comb out your hair, because technically we lose a lot of strands daily, but when you have locks, it's always matted up. So when you have any extra hair that was on your head that may be between a style like mine, you can save that hair, and only as long as you clean it, like I told you guys, you can use it. Why go to a beauty supply store and get some hair that might not match up to yours, or you might feel that you don't want to deal with that. You don't know where it came from, okay? And I get it, and that's why I like to use my own hair. So I love y'all, and make sure you stay extraordinaire.